110 regular interviews, 18 episodes for Westknits, MKAL, Twists and Turns, with 4 lives on Knit 365 channel, and 62 interviews just for that MKAL. 17 special episodes with multiple guests, 4 giveaways, 10 test knits, and 25 projects. This year has been a busy year for Fiberchats, so I want to recap it for you and go over what I've did and the plans for the next year. First of all, I want to thank you all for being such a supportive team. It wouldn't be possible without you knowing that you're watching, that you're loving it, that you're participating in Fiberchats makes all the difference. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I jump into everything I needed this year, I want to talk about what has been happening on Fiberchats. For those of you who are new to my channel, Fiberchats was created as a supportive platform for different kinds of fiber artists out there. My goal for it was to create sort of like a library of fiber arts talent. So when you first discover my channel, you don't have to go to episode 1 and watch every single episode, which is, I mean, if you feel like binge watching, go for it. But the idea was that there are different playlists and you can go and see what kind of fiber arts you want to learn more about and discover some new for you artists and hopefully support them, whether it's just by following them or buying their patterns, buying their yarn, or just sending them a message that you noticed them. I'm sure that means a lot to them. And in the previous episode, I talked just about that, about how you can be supportive to fiber artists and creators out there without spending money. It's not necessary to buy every single pattern in order to support designers. Sometimes just a kind comment or some suggestions go a very long way. And when it comes to my channel, if you have any suggestions on how I can improve, please send it my way. I'm always liking those and I'm paying attention to what you say. This year, I interviewed 110 fiber artists. And to be honest with you, just meeting those 110 people would have been enough of a reward for me. But the fact that you guys watched it and you commented on how much you love discovering new to you artists meant a lot. In September, Martin from Knit 365 blog and I decided to collaborate for the Twists and Turns, this year Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West. And that turned to be one of the busiest time of the year for me, but also like the most exciting time of the year. I got to interview 62 different people for the Humans of Westknits. And I can't thank you enough for volunteering to be a part of that series. It turned into such a success. I didn't expect it. I thought I'm going to do just one episode and it turned into a whole series. And I loved meeting all of you. I loved meeting people from all over the world, telling me their journey, telling me their knitting story. And it was so amazing to see that some of the people were complete beginners and they managed to do this project. And some of the people made every single design by Stephen West out there. So thank you for all the Westknit humans that I got to meet this year. Another series that I recently started, I'm calling The Secrets to Becoming a Better Knitter. And in this series, I'm interviewing some knitting experts to share their tips and tricks, but also share their advice and their wisdom with us. And if you watched that, I hope you liked it and I hope you learned something new for yourself. But please let me know if you'd like me to continue with this series, because that's my plan for 2023, to continue putting this series together. Please let me know in the comments what you think about that. There was a bunch of special episodes that I didn't count as interviews. During the Pride months, I did a compilation of mini interviews with different artists from the LGBTQ community. For the 1-year anniversary of Fiberchats, I put together a cooking show where the previous guests of Fiberchats shared their favorite recipes with you guys. If you haven't watched that one, I highly recommend you to check it out. It was such a blast to watch it. I also recently interviewed Dr. Srini Pillay, about the creator's burnout, about the overwhelm that we all experience from time to time, creative blocks and things like that. And I highly encourage you to watch that interview because I keep going back to it. I just find it so very useful. Every time I feel down, every time I feel like, why I'm doing this, I go back and rewatch it and get new ideas and new inspirations from that episode. I also did 4 different giveaways this year to celebrate different occasions on the channel. And I want to congratulate everybody who won. I hope you love your prizes. And I know that I love collaborating with different indie dyers and small businesses. Well, now let's talk about what I did this year, about the knitting that I managed to finish this year, even though it was a very busy year on Fiberchats, as you can see. The very first project I did this year was Nostradamus Shawl by David van de Kamp. And David is a dear friend of mine. We started Knitters Gonna Knit group on Facebook a couple years ago, and it's been growing tremendously. So if you haven't joined it yet, check it out. So this is the shawl. It's a wrap. And you can see there is 2 borders on one side and on the other side, and it's connected with this beautiful lace. I love knitting this shawl. It's very fun. It's interesting. Things are changing there. You can do it in a traditional way and graft it, or you can do what I did and just knit it in one piece. And what I loved about this shawl, it's like it just doesn't get boring. It's so beautiful, but it's simple. It's like you memorize the repeats fairly quickly. And I use this yak silk merino blend, and it's just like the softest, most luxurious feeling. And this is like you can wear it as a scarf, and it looks like very understated, or you can wear it as a luxurious, beautiful wrap on top of your evening dress. So plenty of opportunities. Highly recommend this pattern. Love knitting it. The second pattern I knitted was a test knit for Chic and Regal Knits, Helena Hovitz, the designer behind it. And it's called Heart of the Matter, Cowl and Headband. And I actually made it for my niece, who absolutely loves it. It's a fun, quick project, and you get to learn some basic stranded work skills. It's done with thicker yarn, so it grows super fast. So if you're looking for like quick gift for somebody or just something to warm yourself up, it's beautiful pattern. I think you will love it. The next project was also a test knit for Chic and Regal Knits, and it's called Positively in Love. And Helena is a huge dog person. She loves all kinds of dogs. She supports a lot of dog charities. And 25% of all the money that she raises by selling the patterns go to different charities for dogs and pets. I love the fun little paw prints on that shawl. It's very fast, easy knit, but it's also like a fun thing to do because there is always color changes. There is always something new happening in that shawl. So check this one out. Number 4 was Jenny Flower Tea by Julie Knits in Paris. And I knitted that tea but because I was going to my parents and they're in Miami, and I wanted to wear something beautiful, lacy, but light. And that t-shirt was like absolutely perfect for that. It took no time at all to do it. It's knitted top down, and you can try it on as you go, and you can adjust it so it fits you perfectly. And I love that shirt and I wear it very often. And what I love about it, because you can adjust it, you really can use different yarns for it. I did it in lace weight, but you can do it in fingering weight yarn and just adapt the pattern to fit you perfectly. Another test knit I did this year was Bubbly Shawl by Julie Knits in Paris. And it turned out to be one of my very favorite knits this year. and you can see it has different look on. It's completely reversible because it's brioche, but it can be worn this way or that way, and I absolutely love knitting it. It's very dramatic. I love the edging of it. It has this little pop of color at the edge with the I-cord. It's one of my favorite shawls this year. I really enjoyed knitting it. And if you're looking for a little bit of a challenge, give this shawl a try. It will keep you on your toes with all those increases and decreases, but it's also repeats itself, so you get the rhythm of it fairly quickly. And it's so beautiful. It's just a pleasure to knit it. I also saw it in such a variety of different colors. You can really make a statement piece for yourself with this one. Just pick two contrasting colors that you love, and it's going to be gorgeous. The next project I want to tell you about was also a test knit. It was for Monique Boonstra, who you would know as A Passion for Lace. And it was this shawl. It's called The Fourth One. And I did the whole episode on the story behind these projects. So Monique has this series called the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And I knitted 3 of those shawls. And each one is absolutely beautiful. The second one is a square shawl done with 4 different colors. The third one is a rectangle shawl with the traditional Shetland construction where you have the edging, 2 borders, and the center, and it's all grafted. And this one was a triangular shawl. It's really generous in size. And it was a very interesting construction of the center part of it. So you basically need 2 edgings, 2 borders, and then you connect the center 1 stitch at a time. So it starts fairly small, but then it grows really fast. And I sort of underestimated the complexity of the center. I thought it's going to be quick connection, and center took a while. So this shawl in general took a long time to complete, but I loved every stitch of it, and I'm very proud of it as one of my hardest achievement in Shetland lace knitting. I knitted it with merino, and it was the thinnest merino I ever worked with. It was 4,000 meters per 100 grams. This shawl weighs 78 grams, and it fits through a wedding ring effortlessly. Thank you, Monique, for letting me be a tester for this shawl. It was a privilege, and I'll cherish that shawl forever. The next project was a learning experience for me as I was learning about raglan sweaters. I haven't knitted that many of them, so when I was looking for a perfect pattern, I saw Julie Knits in Paris pattern called Whatever Sweater. And the idea of that sweater that you can use whatever kind of yarn you have, and you just try everything as you go, and you figure out how long you want it to be, how wide you want it to be. It doesn't require a swatch. So for those of you who don't love swatching, perfect sweater for you. And I learned so much. I learned the basics of the raglan constructions, and Julie gives different ideas for the raglan lines and how you can modify it. So a beautiful pattern if you're just learning how to knit sweaters. My inspiration for it were the Monet pictures of the water lilies and those beautiful like parks. So I went with my favorite color combination of gray and turquoise and some gold. And I'm loving this sweater. I used it as my Rhinebeck sweater, actually. The next project was Coco Rosie by Chic and Regal Knits. I love projects by Helena because they're always fun. There is a lot of variation in the pattern, and it's always colorful and beautiful looking and fun to knit without much difficulty. It's perfect for beginners. It's perfect if you just want some Netflix kind of knit. You will love it. And the next pattern was also by Chic and Regal Knits. It's called Live Out Loud. And I absolutely love knitting that. It was done with the yarn kits from Rose Taylor, the owner of Twisted Ambitions yarn. And Rose is just absolutely magical with colors. And Helena did this shawl for the Pride months. So the colors were just beautiful rainbow colors. And Rose was the best person to do those colors. The next shawl was a shawl called Artesian by Romi Heel. And if you have that one special skein in your collection that you're saving for some special project, that would be a perfect project. So I had that skein for a number of years. It was this dusty pink rose. And it's such a magical shawl because it has like, it looks almost like a dragon wing. It was super fun. It only takes a few days to knit it. And the lace is beautiful. I really recommend you to check out this shawl or other shawls by Romi. She has beautiful designs. And Romi was not only a guest of my channel, but she was also part of Becoming a Better Knitter series. So check out those interviews and see why I love her designs so much. She's a wonderful, very knowledgeable person and a great knitwear designer. I love her designs. I love her lace shawls. They all very elegant. This t-shirt was my next project. And I loved all the little details. It's all knit two together yarn over, the sleeves the same way. And I just played with it. I saw a picture of some similar shirt somewhere, and I just had to try to recreate it. So this is my playing around with being a designer, I guess. Didn't follow the pattern, but I love this t-shirt. I made it out of cotton and it's just so comfortable and it's cute. It has this like little accent details. It's simple raglan, so you can try it on as you go. And it's one of my favorite things to wear. Another top that I made this year was Miss Regency top by David van de Kamp. And I gave it to my daughter. She loves it. I did it with yak silk merino blend and it's super soft and it's like so flowy, but you can do it with any kind of lace weight yarn you have. It's also top down raglan construction and it has beautiful lace inserts and it's just like great regular everyday kind of top. Bjayzl was another thing I took to Rhinebeck with me. It's just such a stunning shawl. I loved knitting it. I loved combining yarns for it. I used mohair held double with the yarn that Kevin from Needles at the Ready hand dyed. And it turned out into this like very dramatic shawl. It's one of my favorites. I wear it all the time and it goes with everything. You can wear it just as a scarf with the coat, or you can make it like a real statement piece. Highly recommend you to try this shawl. It's very fun construction. And those holes, I mean, who can resist those holes? One of the guests of my channel this year was Suzanne de Rosa. It was episode 90. Suzanne worked a number of years and she created this collection. It's called Victorian Lace Knitting Cards. And basically, every card has a picture of lace on the front and the chart for it on the back. So you can combine, the idea of it was to help designers to combine different kinds of lace cards and create designs as basically like as a reference for designers. So I decided to challenge myself and I knitted a top for my mom using some of these cards. And it's very fun process, but it's also like, if you think about the amount of research that went into creating all these cards, it's really an incredible body of work. I highly recommend you to purchase one of these decks and give it a chance. Create something new with it for yourself. Another favorite of mine this year was this beautiful shawl. It's called Morvarch by Lucy Hague. And it's these beautiful round cables. You start in the center and then you grow out and you add pieces. It was, her patterns are challenging, but they're so beautiful. It's such a unique combination of cables that you probably don't see from many other designers. And Nicola Fontaine, a longtime fan of mine of Fiberchats, joined me on knitting that shawl together. And after that, she knitted me this beautiful cowl, also Lucy Hague design. And I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm always wearing it and I love, love it. Thank you. Nicole is always the first one to comment on my videos and she gives me a lot of suggestions, a lot of advice. I always love seeing her comments. It just warms my heart. Thank you to Nicole, and thank you to all of you who write me comments. I read every single one of them, and they always make me think. They make my day. They make me so happy to know that you guys are watching and you're loving the fiber chats. The next shawl I knitted was with the yarn that I got from Knit Crate. And unfortunately, Knit Crate went out of business, but it was lovely while it lasted. So I got this white and purple combination variegated yarn, and I really wanted some fun shawl for it. So I went with Picot de Gallo by Chic and Regal Knits, and this is the second time I'm knitting that shawl, but it just looks so beautiful with variegated yarn. So if you have two skeins of some fun color, this is a perfect shawl to use for it. You're gonna love the details of it. The next shawl I did was also with the Knit Crate yarn. I got this beautiful silky pink yarn from them. It was also two skeins. And I had a pattern in my library for a while called Marjorie Shawl by Sanne Kalkman. And I thought it was a perfect pattern for that yarn. It has the most beautiful lacy border on the edge of the shawl, and the rest of it is like very simple stockinette stitch. So it was quick, but it was also stunning. And I gave it to my sister-in-law, and she just sent me a picture that she's wearing it all the time. So that makes me very happy. Next thing I did was knitting a cable hat that I also didn't follow the pattern, but I just saw similar cable hat somewhere on the Instagram. So I just sort of played with it. And I knitted this hat, and Granville really liked it. So I sent it to him as a gift. And he recently sent me back another hat, also with cables, and this enormous cake and box of cookies. And let me tell you, my kids were very pleased with those cookies and cake. Thank you, Granville, for keeping me warm and for your sweet gifts. The next project, I did it with a lot of you. It was Twists and Turns by Stephen West. And this was my very first mystery knit along that I did properly with the release of every clue. Stephen definitely kept us on our toes. It was so fun to share this journey with you guys. I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. I gifted this shawl to a dear friend of mine who basically, she was the person responsible for me starting to knit because she's an incredible knitter. She's one of those rare artists that they don't follow the pattern and each piece is absolutely unique and cannot be recreated. And she creates the most beautiful outfits. So one of them I actually took to Rhinebeck with me, and everybody tried that coat on and loved it. She's also a huge fan of Stephen West and his designs, so I thought it's the most appropriate gift to give to her. And she absolutely loves this shawl. The next project on my list was X Factor Cowl by Louis Boria. And Louis was one of the guests on my channel last year. He created this pattern for Knit Crate box. And since I received that Knit Crate, it was in this beautiful burgundy color. I had to make Louis's pattern. It's very beautiful. It has this traveling twisted stitch. It doesn't take long to make, but it's very stunning design. And I gifted it to another friend of mine for her birthday, and she absolutely loves it. She tells me she wears it all the time. The next shawl was a test knit for one of my favorite designers. I think, honestly, she's probably one of the top designers of the century. Jennifer Beale created this shawl scarf combination called Rioux. And this is it. So it has this lace panel on the back, and then it has this basically two scarves on the front with these Fair Isle bits, and you can drape it around you like a shawl, or you can just wear it as scarves. I love all the combinations of it. I love that it's so generous in size. It keeps you very warm and cuddly. And it was very interesting construction as everything that Jennifer creates. So basically like this, you start with that center panel, but then you had this beautiful Fair Isle border, and then the scarf attachments were knitted one at a time, and they have these fully reversible Fair Isle designs on them. And I love the color of this edging that I picked. It's like really pops the whole thing, brings it together. So it's one of my very favorites. And I'm so proud to be one of the testers for this pattern. It was probably really testing my technical abilities as a knitter, but then all Jennifer's pattern do that. And actually right now I'm working on another super secret test knit for Jennifer, and that's gonna last well into the 2023. So stay tuned for that one. Another test knit that I've been working this entire year on is a Climate Wrap by Suraya Hussein. So basically, it shows the temperature, it records the temperature of every day in your area. So you start with day 1, and then you change colors every day. So this is my variation of it. I'm still not done. There's a few more days of December. So I'm gonna finish it very soon this week. I love that Suraya started this project to raise awareness of the climate change. And she has different patterns that incorporate the same idea. So please check it out on Ravelry. It's a perfect way to use a lot of yarn. It's definitely a stash buster, but it's also very interesting to see it grow. And if you want something that's going to stay with you through the whole year, this is a great project to do that. The next project I made was Icarus Shawl by David van de Kamp. David jokingly nicknamed me Smurfette for my love of blue, and to tease him, of course, I had to make that shawl in all the colors blue. I put this yellow stripe in the center just as a pop of color, but I absolutely love this shawl. It drapes beautifully. You can use any leftover yarn you have. You can make it with 25 colors, or you can make it with 2 colors. The decision is yours. I love projects like this because you are the artist for it. Your color choices will make it completely unique. This shawl can be for a man, for a woman. It doesn't matter. It's very dramatic. It can be understated or very dramatic. It's like completely up to you what you're going to do with this shawl. The next project that I did was a hat for my husband, who I never actually knitted anything for, come to think about it. So that was my first project for him. And he wanted some simple beanie, so I made it. And he seems to like it, and it looks very cute on him. So maybe that's the start of something new. I don't know. We'll see. This was another one of those projects when I didn't follow any patterns. I just basically figure out how many stitches I have to cast on by making a little swatch. And I figure out how to do decreases by just dividing this hat into 6 parts and decreasing every other row. So I think it turned out to be very cute, and he's happy with it. So that's all that matters. And the last pattern I did this year was Wanderlust Shawl by Shayna Beale. Shayna was a guest of my channel. She was also part of the Becoming the Better Knitter series. And she gifted me this pattern, and I knew I just have to make it right away. I gave it to a friend of my son who loved it. Thank you, Shayna, for giving me the gift of this pattern. It turned out absolutely beautiful. So this is all I managed to knit this year. And I'm very excited about next year and things I want to learn, things I want to experiment with. So stay tuned for that journey. I'm also very excited about my plans for next year when it comes to Fiberchats. And I hope you're going to enjoy it as well. I'm open to all and any suggestions that you might have. If you want me to interview someone, or if you have some other ideas, please put them in the comments or email me at fiberchats@gmail.com. I always love hearing from you. If you enjoy Fiberchats, please consider subscribing and send your favorite interview to a friend or two. let them discover my channel as well. The more people know about my channel, the more people will discover all these amazing fiber artists that I interview, and the more support we can show them. So by helping me to grow my channel, you're helping every single person who comes to my channel to grow and make a name for themselves. Thank you so very much for sharing this journey with me. Happy New Year, and I hope to see you all again next year. Happy crafting, you all.